All right, welcome back. Now, let's really dive into credit and what makes a good credit score, what makes a bad credit score, and what are some of the things that can tank it? What are some of the things that can make it go up? And when should you be looking at this stuff, right? As mentioned before, when we're getting into credit, okay, credit's one of those things where it goes down a lot faster than it goes up, unfortunately. Hey, don't shoot the messenger. I didn't make up the rules. I'm just here to help explain them to you and how we can navigate this best together, okay? So one of the biggest things, and I know it sounds really obvious, but pay your bills on time, okay? I know, again, it sounds obvious, but people do not have any clue how big of a deal it is when you have a late payment, especially on something like a mortgage, or student loan, or even a vehicle loan. Those are really big. And there's even rules where if you've had a late pay or two on a mortgage, you're kind of in trouble for about a year. Like it's not going to happen. So that can be very bad, let alone just what it does to your score. Okay. So pay things on time. You're going to for sure want all your payments on time within the last 12 months, ideally 24 months. All right. Now, as far as paying on time, just FYI, your grace period, let's say you have a credit card and it's got a 15-day period before it's technically late and they charge you. At that point, there's still no reporting to the credit reports, okay? Or the credit bureaus, I should say. It's not going to show on a credit report. Once you get about 30 days past due, though, that's when it's going to show up on your credit report and it's reported to the bureaus, okay? So a couple days late, heck, you're probably fine. 10, 15, yeah, you're getting a late fee and that's no fun, but it's still not really nailing your credit. But once you're at 30 days past due, you're in trouble, okay? So number one, do that. Number two, if you have any collections on your account, you do not want to pay them off at least right before the process or during the process. If we're talking 12 to 24 months before, maybe, but you really still should consult with your loan officer to see the exact time, to show when it was on there. But really, you don't want to touch that stuff, okay? Let your mortgage professional review it and let you know if they think for sure we need to get it off of there or not. Because here's the thing, things as they get farther in time get aged more. And so even if it's bad and it's negative and it's on your credit report, if you haven't touched it for 3, 4, 5 years, it's slowly every month, slowly going away, right? And it's not as big of a deal. But now when you go back in and make a payment on it or pay it off, all of a sudden, it's called a credit refresh. And now they go, hey, so-and-so just made a payment or paid us off, and now they can refresh it. And it kind of, instead of doing this, it goes back up to here again, okay? And it's going to hurt you. So don't do that. Don't pay those off, okay? I would advise not doing that. The other thing is your credit limits, okay? And I won't spend too much time on this, but this is very big. So one of the things to get your scores up faster and quicker is you want to be ideally at 30% of your credit limit. So let's just do very simple math, okay? A $1,000 credit limit on your Visa, let's say, if you have a $1,000 credit limit, you really at all times want to be below $300. That's 30% of your limit. So your balance should ideally be $300 or lower, maybe $299 and lower at all times, okay? Now trust me, if you're just starting out, if you're just trying to get credit and you've got like a $500 limit, I realize this can be challenging. I realize this can be tough, but I'm just telling you this is how it is, okay? If you're over 50%, it's hurting you. If you're between 30 and 50, it's not as bad. If you're 30 and under, it's great. Having a bunch of balances under 30 is really not bad. It shows that, hey, you could go nuts and just rack up all this debt, but you don't, right? It shows control and restraint. They like that. Also, once you get between 50 and 90% or 100%, that's when it gets bad. And if you're close to maxed, it's hurting you. So every month is really kind of dinging your scores and it's going lower. And if you're over your limit, that's very bad. So one of the things that we look at is if you have a bunch of credit cards out there and you're over 30%, especially 50%, and you're close to max or maxed, that's one of the biggest things to do to get there. Now, don't do what you think you should do, which would make sense, which is go in and then say, hey, I'm going to get a brand new card, or maybe two, right, and then dump all this debt on there. Because then what you're doing is maybe it's lightening some of the other ones, but now these two are maxed, right? So if you can disperse them a little more evenly amongst some other cards, that's good, as long as you can try to keep them all around that 30% mark, okay, or maybe 50%. But you don't want to just put them all on one or two new ones, because now you just took out more debt, a new card, and then you max that sucker out. So it's still not doing what you want it to do, okay? So ideally, 30% if you can, at least under 50, and that's the thing. Do not go over your limit or your credit limit. Do not have it maxed out, all right? Couple of other things is look for anything that is wrong, that is clearly inaccurate. You want to see if something's on there that shouldn't, or there's something that's on there that shouldn't be on there, and we want to get rid of that. So as far as if you really think that you're going to be, truly looking at getting into a home very soon, I would say, you want to apply as fast as possible. And again, we're not doing a pre-qualification, we're doing a pre-approval where we're pulling credit. We're looking at all three bureaus. We'll get into that next. And seeing that stuff, because again, it takes time. It's not like running to Walmart and picking up some stuff and checking out and going, hey, we're good to go, right? We got it done in a day or two. This can take time. So if there's mistakes on there, it can take weeks. It can even take months to get that gone. Not always, but it can. So you want to make sure that you're looking at this in enough time. If loan officer, mortgage advisor, pro, whatever you want to call us, right? If we pull your credit, and once we pull your credit, from there, you're looking typically 90 days to 120 days that credit report is good. So just FYI, if you have your credit checked, let's say in January, and you just don't find any houses you like whatsoever, and now it's May, June, there's going to have to be another credit check. But again, don't worry, it's not a big deal if it's that sporadic. The other credit checks, and I'll get into that next, is where you want to watch out for, okay? So these are some of the biggest ones, but we've got a few more to cover here in the next video or two that are really, really helpful as well. All right, thanks. See you in a second.